No, we got called up and we had to go to Germany for a few days first, and then from the to Kuwait, where we was in Kuwait for about 5 weeks, delivering rations and water and stuff, and then we moved into Iraq after that, like, you know. Well, we was in Kuwait for about 4 weeks, and then we moved into Qasr, and was there about another 3 or 4 weeks, and we moved into where we was in between Basra and Baghdad, and we was attached to the 1 para and 3 para and looking after them, like, you know, doing all the dirty work for them type of thing. We hadn't a clue. Nobody knew. The regular soldiers, they were called out, and they knew the date they were coming back. But because we were like territorial, they just didn't know what to do with us. We didn't know when we was coming home. So what they did, they just used us for the overlap. When the unit we went out with went home, and we stayed there till the units coming in, got settled in, and then we came home. But it was like nearly 5 months, you know. We did longer than some of the regular soldiers because the first lot went in with us, left us there, you see, for the takeover type of thing. Well, it was like jobs that they didn't want to do, like the rations and things like that, moving that around and stuff like that. But we were like mainly laundries, so we only actually got onto our own kits when we actually settled in Qasr and started doing our jobs, like, you know. Other than that, we was just usually like, for anything, any bits and bobs. Some of the lads got taken out to work in the bakery and things like that, you know. Well, we only found out once you're called up, you're just a soldier, and you do what you're told to do. Basically, if they don't need you at that time, they can use you for anything else, you know. Well, it was our senior officers, but they were only like puppets to the regular army, you know what I mean. They really didn't know what to do with the TA at the time, and that's why there's a massive big shake-up now with the TA now, because we were so far behind the times, wasn't set up for anything, like, you know. I think it was just, it happened from since, I think it was World War II that the TA had been called up. So it was a big, massive learning curve for the TA and the British Army, you know. And we wasn't really probably good enough at the time, but obviously it's getting better now because the training now is a lot more intense now. Well, it's just 50-50 now, because it's just a big part. The TA, it's not going to be called the TA, it's going to be called the Army Reserves now. And it's going to well, you used to only have to do 19 days. You now have to do, well, they're hoping to get up to 50 days a year, you know, and more if they can. But obviously the companies that you work for have got to release you for that. So the government are having this campaign now where they're contacting all the companies and hoping that they'll honour them with the 50 days, like, you know. But apparently they're going to give tax incentives to companies to benefit them. But how it works, that's the politics of it, we don't know, you know. The original reason was just to join for a beer with the lads. You never thought for once you'd get called up to go and fight in a war, like, you know. But I've been in like 12 years before that happened, so I had 12 good years of fun, like, you know. And it was still military. You still got on with the military. You did you did your work, but it was just the camaraderie I joined for as well, like, you know. And I've always wanted to join as a young kid, but I never did. So I thought, when I was 25, I thought, sod this, let's have a go over this, like, you know, because they told some good tales and they got up for a few pints with the lads at night. And I was married with small children, I thought it was a nice little break, you know. It was just the upheaval from like being a family unit, you know, and then all of a sudden thrown into a war situation. It was like for the soldiers, they were regulars, they trained for it, they do 6 months away from the families every year for this event, and we was just literally ripped out your job and thrown into a war, and it was like, what the hell are we doing here? It was really frightening, really, really frightening. Well, that's it. The Yanks never didn't get involved with Syria, and it's still going on in Syria, and the Yanks just sat there, and because there's probably got no oil there, you see. So why haven't they gone in there? If that's what they're thinking of, humanitarian reasons, they've never gone into Syria, have they? So it's just, I think where the money is, the Yanks will always be. Well, the British Army, they're all young lads, aren't they? They're all young kids, and they're just probably gun-ho and proud to be in the army, and they don't really realise the political side of it, like, you know, and they just do as they're told, basically, you know, we've got to go. It's only probably when they're there they realise, when their friends are getting killed, well, what are we doing here now? And a lot, well, after the TA literally halved when we all come back from Iraq. And that's why there's this like massive drive to get people in. They lost thousands of people from the TA because they're just all packed in. And people was so frightened because he wasn't really trained to go out there and do what we was doing. It was like thrown in at the deep end, basically. And that's no fault to the TA. It's just the way the TA was run at the time, and it wasn't intense soldiering really. But as I say, it's changing now. It's too tough for me now because they want too much out of me now. I'm too old for all that now. Well, they offer it's the bounty. A lot of people join the TA for the bounty, a tax-free bounty, which is it's good. It's good money. It's £1,700 plus the wages, and plus if you want to use the TA, you can see the world with the TA. You know, you can volunteer and go on loads of tours, and that's what they want now with the lads in the TA, to be a big part of the British Army. So if a young boy wants to be a civilian and have a bit of fun, active, you know, training and things like that, it's there for them. So it is good if you're military minded, but you don't want to do it full time. It's the best thing to do, isn't it? You've got best of both worlds. You only go for 50 days, it'll be 50 days a year, rather than 352 days. Well, I think regular soldiers, the join as boys, you see, and then TA, the amount of people that are coming through are mid-20s, you know, 25 plus, and they've probably settled with the families, and they want a little bit of extra cash, and you know, and it's there for them if they want it. It's a good incentive because like they pay good money, you know, it's good pay, and the bounty as well, it's tax-free, and when that comes in, it's a nice little lump sum. Well, there was that when I joined, the regular army hated the TA, but now it's changing because they've become a big part of the British Army now, and they're all as aware with them. There isn't that divide anymore. That's not as bad anyway, because it was really bad at one time, you know. But now they embrace you when you go onto the camps and things. They just thought we were like the toy army. There was the elites, and then when we went out to Iraq and we actually got as good as they did, like towards the end of it, they was quite happy to have us alongside of them. There wasn't like, didn't think anymore that we were only just plain toy soldiers. Was a big part of it. So they probably thought, oh, they're not bad, these lads, you know. So that's what I think.